Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Brennan here at the National Hurricane Center. It's just after 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time on Monday, July 8th, coming on with the latest on what is now Tropical Storm Beryl, which made landfall early this morning along the middle Texas coast and is now moving inland, currently centered about 20 miles to the west-northwest of Houston. Very dangerous weather, multiple hazards playing out across southeast Texas this morning. You can see the center of Beryl and the remnants of the eye wall moving over portions of the Houston metro area. You can see these rain bands out over the Gulf of Mexico streaming on shore. So we have sustained tropical storm force winds over much of southeastern Texas this morning. We've seen wind gusts of 70, 80 miles per hour across portions of the Houston metro area. Widespread power outages. We still have life-threatening storm surge inundation ongoing. There are flash flood warnings in effect for the entire Houston metro area, as well as a few tornado warnings that are popping up in these outer rain bands a little farther to the east, closer to East Texas, closer to the Louisiana border. So let's step you through all the hazards here this morning. We're going to start with storm surge. We still have a storm surge warning in effect from Port O'Connor up to Sabine Pass, so the middle and upper portions of the Texas coast. 4 to 6 feet of inundation still expected between Freeport and High Island, including in Galveston Bay, especially up into the back parts of Galveston Bay, where the storm surge is combining with the runoff from the very heavy rainfall that's occurred this morning, and those water levels will stay elevated through much of the day before subsiding later today and tonight. But again, the potential for 3 to 5 feet of inundation from High Island to Sabine Pass, and 2 to 4, 3 to 5 feet to the south of Freeport. So hopefully in these areas, people are out of those storm surge evacuation zones, out of those areas, but please be ready to move to a higher floor in your building or to get to higher ground if your area is flooding. Let's move on now to talk about the wind hazards. Beryl is still a tropical storm force winds extending well out away from the center, out over the northern Gulf of Mexico. We have a tropical storm warning in effect from Port O'Connor to Sabine Pass along the coast, but also much of southeast Texas in this area is also under a tropical storm warning, seeing again those sustained winds near 50, 55 miles per hour at both of the major airports in the Houston metro area. Again, wind gusts 70, 80 miles per hour during the last few hours. So again, stay inside. Most of the fatalities that occur due to wind and tropical storms and hurricanes occur from tree damage, people being outside and having tree branches fall on them in their cars or in their homes or outdoors. So please be safe, be prepared to shelter in place for at least a few more hours here until conditions begin to subside. Let's move on now to the rainfall hazard. We are still expecting 5 to 10 inches of rain in a wide swath across East Texas up into the Arklatex region, with isolated totals could reach as high as 15 inches down here in the Houston-Galveston area, but also in some areas of East Texas where we get some of these training rain bands during the next 6 to 12 hours. As we go from tonight into Tuesday, the heavy rainfall threat is going to spread up across the Arklatex region through Arkansas into the mid-Mississippi Valley across southern Missouri. So there's going to be a widespread flash flooding threat that's first going to be focused today in this red area from Texarkana to just west of Shreveport, Tyler, Texas, Lufkin, down to the Houston-Galveston area. And this is a level 3 out of 4 risk for flash flooding. So very serious situation here could unfold. There's flash flood watches in effect for all of this region. And we could see some considerable flash flooding as well as longer-term river flooding after the heavy rains end. And as we move on into Tuesday, that broader flash flooding risk is going to stretch up into places like Cape Girardeau, St. Louis, up into southern Illinois as the moisture from Beryl is pulled northward and eastward. Again, the tornado threat today, this morning, is centered around southeast Texas. We have a tornado watch that's in effect for the Houston-Galveston region over to Beaumont, Port Arthur, portions of southeast Texas, and also down into Matagorda and Brazoria counties. We've seen several tornado warnings this morning, and that risk of tornadoes is going to shift northward along the Texas-Louisiana border and into southwestern Arkansas during the day today. So this is the risk today and tonight. So if you live in any of these areas in East Texas, western Louisiana, southwestern Arkansas, both for the tornado threat and the flash flood threat, make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather information through a NOAA weather radio, through wireless emergency alerts on your smartphone that can alert you and especially wake you up overnight if there are dangerous conditions in your area. One final reminder about the risk of rip currents that exists along the entire northern and western coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Again, even all the way over to places like the Florida Panhandle, the Alabama coastline. The wave field from Beryl has created very dangerous surf and rip current conditions. Please stay out of the water if the ocean does not appear safe and if those flags are flying, and pay attention to advice you've given by your local officials there. And one final note, there are widespread power outages in southeast Texas. I want to touch on a few things related to post-storm safety. Particularly, you want to use flashlights and not candles to provide lighting if you have a power outage in your home. And please practice generator safety. We lose a lot of people after tropical storms and hurricanes to carbon monoxide poisoning from improper generator use. The generators either being run in the home or not vented properly. So please follow those guidelines and make sure that you keep you and your family safe. And please be careful with food and water. Things can start to spoil very quickly, and you can get sick from those types of materials in your home. So again, just be safe after the storm and don't become a statistic. So I'll wrap up here with the final look at the key messages. We still have life-threatening storm surge inundation through this afternoon along portions of the mid and upper Texas coast, including Galveston Bay, Matagorda Bay from Port O'Connor to Sabine Pass. We have damaging wind gusts that are going to continue near the core of Beryl across portions of the Houston metro area for the next few hours, spreading up into portions of southeast Texas. So please be sheltered in place and stay in a safe place for the next few hours. Considerable flash and urban flooding is expected today and tonight across portions of East Texas and the middle and upper Texas Gulf Coast, with that risk of flash flooding spreading farther north and eastward with time. And again, a final reminder about the danger of those rip currents. So this is going to be our final live stream on Tropical Storm Beryl from here at the National Hurricane Center. We'll continue to provide updates throughout the day on hurricanes.gov. You can find more information from your local National Weather Service office at weather.gov. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brennan.